What is your name, please?
My name is Enrico Caruso.
What is your name, please?
My name is Enrico Caruso.
What is your name, please?
My name is Enrico Caruso.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Enrico Caruso and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. And here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to our game of deliberate misrepresentation, wherein our panel endeavors to figure out which one of three challengers has sworn to tell the truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you each week by Geritol, America's #1 tonic, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. And now let's meet our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Joan Caulfield.
My name is Ralph Bellamy.
My name is Kitty Carlisle.
And my name is Gardner.
Incidentally, Joan, may I tell you how pleasant it is for all of us to know that your new television series, Sally, is such a big hit on Sunday nights, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What time is it on?
7:30 on NBC.
It's all right, it's all right. We look the other way, but we look your way when
Thank
it's
you.
on. It's certainly awfully nice to have you here with us tonight. I hope you enjoy your visit.
Thank you, Bud.
And now, these three gentlemen all claim to be Enrico Caruso. Only one, of course, is the real Enrico Caruso. The other two have merely assumed that identity, and they do not have to stick to the truth. Now, panel, may I direct your attention to the copies of the affidavits in front of you as I read it to you from the original. I, Enrico Caruso, am a hairstylist. In my New York salon, I have created hairstyles for Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, Mrs. Henry Ford, and other ladies of international prominence. I am credited with originating both the Poodle cut and the Italian cut. Signed, Enrico Caruso. Now, panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Enrico Caruso, international hairstylist. Only the real Enrico Caruso, of course, is required to answer your questions truthfully. You will each question until you hear this signal. And at the end of the questioning period, you will be asked to register your vote for the one person who, in your opinion, is the real Enrico Caruso. And we will begin our questioning round, with this round at least, with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, you have invented the Poodle cut and the Italian haircut. What do you believe the next progression in hairstyles for ladies will be?
Which
number? 3?
Number 3.
I'm sorry, I thought
Yeah.
it was number 2. The
No,
next
no,
one,
number-
well, it'll be bangs with a little puff, a little more puffs than they have today.
Uh-huh. Number 1, do you believe that women should follow the styles, or should they have an individual hairdo to suit themselves from an expert, say, like you?
Well, I think it's much more important that they suit their hairstyles to their own personalities and their own selves.
Number 2, you're an expert. How would I look with light hair?
Blonde, I guess.
Would it be good?
He's only guessing.
I think it would be a good idea.
Always leave them laughing. Hi, Gardner.
Speaking of blonde, number 1, what is the natural color of Marilyn Monroe's hair?
Her hair is brown.
Uh-huh. Also, number 1, you've undoubtedly seen the showgirls at the current Copacabana show. The hair is all dyed green. Can you tell me which one of your rivals is the one who did the dyeing?
No, I don't know.
Can you answer that, number 2?
No, I don't know either.
Number 3, can you answer it?
I don't know either.
Gosh, he'll be very much disappointed.
Joan Caulfield.
Number 3, what do you do for dry, brittle hair?
Well, I would suggest a scalp treatment with Restore.
Oh, number 2, what would you do for dry, brittle hair?
I'd use Restore.
You'd use Restore. What would you use, number 1?
Use Restore.
Oh, I see. Number 1, what is the usual tip you get from a woman?
Well, I don't receive any tips in my shop. I don't accept
How many dryers in your shop, number 2?
24.
Oh, boy, it's big. How many times a month, number 3, should a woman get her hair cut the Italian way, to keep the Italian hair?
At least twice a month.
Twice a
and
month.
set it 4 times a month.
I see.
Ralph?
Well, number 1, do you know a hairstylist shop in New York, salon in New York, run by a man named Ralph Bellamy?
No, I don't.
Do you, number 2?
No, not that I know of.
Number 3, do you?
Never heard.
Well, I want you to know that there is one. And I have nothing to do with it, but if Mr. Caruso had the trouble I have with confusion of mail, maybe that had something to do with his early death. Number 1, do hairstylists have an organization of any kind?
There is no organization for hairstylists.
There isn't. Number 2, what would you say? Is there an organization?
There's an organization of, yes, I'd say there's an organization.
Number 3, what would you say?
Well, if you mean a union, there is no union.
Organization.
Number 2, are you related to Enrico Caruso, the tenor?
No,
You are not.
no.
Are you related to him, number 3?
I am not at all.
What do you charge?
That's it. Sorry, we'll never find out what his
Never
fee
find
is
out
now.
what he charges for a haircut.
Never. You just have to go in there and take your chances. And it's time to vote. So without consultation, panel, will you mark your ballots and select number 1, number 2, or number 3? Remember, please, the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All right, Joan, you all set? For whom did you vote?
Number 3.
You have a reason?
I don't know. He was the first one that said restorer, and they all kind of copied him.
Follow the leader. Ralph, how about your vote?
Number 2. Number 2 said there was an organization, and I seem to remember that there is an organization each year who, among themselves, give some kind of an award to fellow hairstylists.
Kitty, how about your ballot?
Number 2. Well, I had to vote for number 2 because he gave me the incentive I wanted. I've always wanted to dye my hair blonde, and I think it might be a very good idea.
Tune in next week, folks, and see. Hi, Gardner.
I voted for number 1. I thought it was number 3 because he's been so busy fixing everybody else's hair, he hasn't had time to grow any of his own. But number 1 did know the original color of Marilyn Monroe's hair, which is a light brown, and also he looks like he can do a pretty good job with spaghetti. Number 1.
All right, there we are now. We have our rhymes, our reasons, and you know them as well as we do. We're going to find out now how right we are or how wrong as we learn which one of these 3 gentlemen is the internationally known hairstylist. Will the real Enrico Caruso please stand up? Thank you very much. You know, he doesn't look unlike Enrico Caruso.
That was one of the reasons.
I
know,
thought
but
so.
you said he wasn't.
Number 1, who are you and what do you really do, sir?
My name is Joseph Mizzou. I'm a pianist and have recently worked as accompanist to Pat Boone.
And number 3, how about you?
My name is Dino Gallo. I am general manager of the National Enquirer, the liveliest paper in the world.
Well, we thank you very much for being with us, and if we look down the line here, we find that there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol. Thank you for being with us. Good night, and the best of good luck to you, gentlemen. Now, may we have our next team of challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is Bertha Reagan.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bertha Reagan.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bertha Reagan.
Now, once again, panel, may I ask you to follow along with your copies of this affidavit. I, Bertha Reagan, am a softball pitcher. This year, I pitched 131 consecutive scoreless innings. So far in my career, I have pitched 125 no-hit games. Last month, I made history in the Softball World Series I pitched 2 no-hit, no-run games in one day. Signed, Bertha Reagan. Now, panel, as you heard, these 3 ladies all claim to be Bertha Reagan, champion softball pitcher. Remember, only the real Bertha Reagan is required to answer your questions truthfully, and we'll begin this round of questions with Ralph Bellamy. Ralph?
Number 1, what team are you with?
Ray Bestis Breakers.
Number 2, where was this recent World Series played?
Chicago.
Number 3, who was the opposing team?
The New York Panthers.
Number 1, aside from the size of the ball and the pitch, what is the principal difference between softball and baseball?
Well, the runner gets to leave base in baseball, and the pitching distance is closer.
Number 2, what is is there a difference in dimensions in the diamond between softball and baseball?
Yes, there is.
Number 3, what is that difference?
Between home plate and first would be 60 feet, and between pitcher's mound and home plate would be 38 feet.
Kitty.
Number 1, is softball played more by women because it's less dangerous?
No.
Number 2, do you get to play against men's teams?
Yes, we do.
Number 3, do you ever have any trouble with pinch hitters?
No.
Oh.
I couldn't resist it. Tell me, the costume that you're wearing, number 1, is that what you wear when you play?
Yes.
Number 2, how do you get to be a softball player?
By practicing.
But, now, I mean, where do you learn?
Schoolyards.
Hi, Gardner.
Number 2, has any female ball player, to your knowledge, ever played or been signed to play in organized baseball?
Not to my knowledge.
Number 3, would you answer that?
Not to my knowledge.
And number
either,
1?
sir. Not to my knowledge, yes.
There was one at one time in Harrisburg. Number 1, how come you pitched 125 no-hit games? Were they all called in the kind of rain?
No. They were just regular softball 7-inning games.
What city did you pitch your no-hitter in? Your 2 no-hitters in one day?
Buena Park, California.
And what city did you pitch your 2 no-hitters in, number 2?
Chicago.
Chicago. What paper carried the best story in Chicago?
Chicago News.
Chicago News, huh? Number 3, you have such a fine pitching record. Did the manager ever take you out?
No.
I'd like to ask a question there. Do you mean during the game or... Joan Caulfield.
Number 3, what's a squeeze play?
Pardon me?
What's a squeeze? A squeeze play?
Well, when one is on first and one is on second, you've got to more or less eliminate your batter, and you've got to give up your batter to let second go to third.
Do you agree with that, number 2?
No.
What do you say it is?
You squeeze the runner home from third.
Right. Number 1, a man hits a ball and is out 6-3. What does that mean?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
On that note, we call an end to the questioning and tell you that it's time to vote. So without consultation, will you once again mark your ballots? And in so doing, select number 1, number 2, or number 3. You all set, Joan? Ooh, you marked fast. For whom did you vote this time?
Number 2, because she knew what a squeeze play was.
All right, Ralph Bellamy, how about your vote?
Number 3. I have some misgivings. She did know the dimensions of the diamond, the distance from the pitcher's mound to home plate, but that last question I have some misgivings about.
How about you, Kitty?
Number 2. Well, I thought the stance was very athletic, her stance when we looked at her, and also I liked what she said about learning to play in the schoolyard. I believe that.
How about your vote, High?
I also voted for number 2. First of all, I think because of Joan's question about the squeeze play, and secondly, if I can get corny, and there's nothing here that's going to stop me, she's the type of girl, I think, with whom I'd like to get to first base.
All right. There we are. We won't even mention that we gave reasons this time, but the votes are in, so let's find out now which of these three ladies is the champion softball pitcher. Will the real Bertha Reagan please stand up? All right. Pulled him right down the line on that one. Number two, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Dorothy Whalen, and I'm insurance secretary for the Francis Whalen Insurance Agency in Queens Village, Long Island.
And number three, what about you?
My name is Marion Munzing. I work for Eclipse Pioneer Division of Bendix Aviation as an expediting secretary.
Yes, hi. You have an extra question you want to ask?
No, I'd just like to say at this point that I do not retract my reason concerning number two.
Well, all right. As a matter of fact, I would say that she can probably take you out because having defeated the whole panel, that means there were 4 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $1,000 from Geritol. Ladies, divided, enjoyed, and thank you very much for being with us. Good night and good luck. Now, in just 1 minute, 3 new... Now, may we have our next team of challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr.
What is your name, please?
My name is Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr.
What is your name, please?
My name is Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr.
Once again, panel, may I ask you to pay attention to your copies of this affidavit. I, Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr., am the squash rackets champion of Chicago, Illinois. I am also the president of the largest market research organization in the world. Our company is perhaps best known to the public through the television index by which we rate popularity of television programs. These figures are known as Nielsen ratings. Signed, Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr. Nielsen, Jr., president, as we know, of the famous Market Research Organization. Again, each of you question until you hear the signal. We'll begin this round with Hi Gardner. Hi?
Number one, and this is strictly impersonal, do you really believe in rating services?
I very sincerely do. It's been my bread and butter for a good number of years, sir.
Number two, what happened to our rating during this period? Did it go up or down?
Why, your rating, as I recall, and
I'm sorry, sir, it was number two.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it wonderful to talk back to Nielsen?
Mr. Gardner, do you mean total audience or average audience?
Oh, don't complicate it further, sir. Any way at all.
Well, our rating went up about 2.7 for total audience and 2.2 for average audience.
Fine. Number two, how come Dr. Gallup uses a doctor in front of his name and you don't call yourself Dr. Nielsen?
He went to Princeton.
Joan?
Number three, what's the lowest rating a television show has ever gotten?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Do you know number two?
No, I would say 4 to 5, somewhere in there.
Number one?
No, I can't say specifically, but I believe that, as I recall it, in about 1952, and I'm not going to mention the show, I don't think it's good taste,
No.
about 1.3.
Number one, what's the highest rating the show has ever gotten in the Nielsen?
Well, again, if I had UNIVAC here, I could do better, but I believe that in 1950, the Texaco Star Theater, which is the first year of our service, got a higher rating, about 79.5.
Ooh, wouldn't that be a nice one? Ralph?
Number one, you say you're the squash rackets champion of Chicago. What club do you belong to?
The Lakeshore Athletic Club.
Number two, what club do you belong to?
Lakeshore Athletic.
Number three?
Racket Club.
Racket Club. Number one, what is the address of the Illinois Athletic Club in Chicago?
I'll be darned, I can't tell you.
Number two, do you know?
I can't tell you the exact address. That's Michigan Avenue.
Number three, do you know?
I don't know.
Number two, what do you charge a client for your various services?
That's a rather difficult one because we don't charge any set fee. It depends upon the size of the client's organization, what we can supply him in services, and the cost to us.
All right, I get the idea.
Advertising agency.
Kitty?
Number 3, I've always been fascinated about how this works. How do you find out if anybody's watching us?
Well, we select a group of homes, and in these homes we put a machine which is connected to the receiver. And if someone is listening, it makes a record.
Oh. You don't telephone people
No.
to find out if they're listening?
No.
Number 2, who wrote The Hidden Persuaders?
Vance Packard, I believe.
Number 3, are you a native of Chicago?
Yes.
Do you know the street that the Ambassador Hotel is on?
I believe it's on Gaeta Street. Correct pronunciation.
That's it. With the location of the Ambassador Hotel, we call time to vote. So will you please mark your ballots without consultation? And in so doing, select number 1, number 2, or number 3. How about you, Joan, already?
I'm just guessing. I took number 3 because he said the Racket Club instead of the other country club. That's
Good
a real
reason
guess.
most of us have, believe me.
Boy.
Ralph, how about your vote?
Number 2. He looked sort of loose like a rackets player, and he did know vaguely the address of the Illinois Athletic Club, and neither of the other two knew anything about it.
Kitty, your vote this time?
You've upset me terribly. I voted for number 3 because he said he also belongs to the Racket Club, and he knew the street the Ambassador Hotel was on. He pronounced it Goethe, too, which I've always called Goethe, but there you are.
Hi, Gardner.
I voted for number 2 also, primarily, I think, because his answers were just as confusing as his rating.
Oh, we're cooking tonight. You must admit if our votes aren't sound, our reasons are. Now we'll find out which one of these 3 gentlemen is the president of the famous Market Research Organization. Will the real Arthur C. Nielsen, Jr. please stand up? Well, Joni, you're having a good night, as our guest
yes, we
here tonight.
apologize for anything we say. We all have shows on the air.
From the
We want
level.
to be good.
Number 1, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Jack Byram. I'm an account executive in an agency that advertises Shenley whiskey.
Number 2, how about you, sir?
My name is Don Stillman. I'm merchandise director for Tussie Cosmetics here in New York.
Incidentally, real Mr. Nielsen, sir, it's nice to know that our rating on this show actually did go up 4.2 last month. We're pretty happy about that.
Hopefully it'll go up again.
Oh, he just said something I hope will be deathless. What did you say, sir?
But I hope it'll go up again.
So do we. So do we. Well, let's see how we worked out tonight. There were exactly 2 incorrect votes this time at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol. Thank you for joining us. Hope you had a good time. We enjoyed having you here. Good night and good luck. Now, we'll be back in just a few. Time now to say goodnight, I'm afraid. Good night, panel.
Good night, Bud.
Joan, it was nice having you here with us tonight. And friends, when you give the United way. More people benefit, as a matter of fact, through United community campaigns than from any other voluntary appeal. So give to the United community campaigns throughout America. And now this is Bud Collier saying goodnight from Geritol and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS Television Network.